Hi, everybody. Let me drop the link. I'm waiting for Sin to come in. There you go, Sin. Let me do this really quickly. Hold on. We're going to talk about the Shaquilla Robinson case today because it's just been announced that no federal charges are going to be brought up against her on this case. Very, very strange. But it all goes into this tip that I got a while back. We're going to talk about all of this. Hold on. Wow, this is crazy. Absolutely crazy. Ugh, they're just not going to do anything about it. You guys remember a long time ago, I was getting, this is just ridiculous. Hold on. Do you guys remember I was saying that the Mexican authorities, I got this tip that the Mexican authorities were doing their job and they were waiting on the US? This is crazy. Hey, Sin, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Hold on, let me close all of these other tabs. I got so
Okay.
many
And I'm
tabs
gonna
open. Do you
turn this.
remember, Sin? I did a video a while back, and I had an insider tip telling me, no, it was the United States dropping the ball and not Mexico. Do you remember that?
Yes, I do.
This is crazy. Let me close these tabs. I have like 20 tabs open. Hold
Oh
on.
my goodness.
Because I was researching stuff. Really crazy. Uh,
This is ridiculous.
It
But
really is. Let me put this up here. I feel like really bad for her family.
right.
And I don't understand what's going on. Let me read this article and then we'll talk about it.
Okay.
It just doesn't make sense to me. I need to calm down. I'm taking this serious personally.
Well, I am too. I mean, it affects so many people the way it happened.
Yeah. So I guess there's supposed to be a press conference in a couple minutes. Let me read this to you guys before the press conference. It says the Department of Justice has determined there will be no federal charges filed in the death of Charlotte native Shaquilla Robinson. On Wednesday, sorry,
Calm down.
yeah, I know. Federal prosecutors informed Robinson's family that there is not sufficient evidence for a federal prosecution. Robinson was found unalived in a hotel in Mexico in October. She was vacationing with her friends in Cabo San Lucas. In March, Robinson's family traveled to Washington, D.C. to call for action demanding diplomatic intervention. Her family was joined by prominent civil rights attorney Benjamin Crump. The FBI Charlotte Field office opened an investigation into her being unalived after a video posted online showed Robinson being attacked by one of the friends she traveled to Mexico with. The FBI offered their condolences to the Robinson family. The death of Miss Robinson has been incredibly difficult for her family and community. Read a statement from the Department of Justice. As a matter of policy, federal officials generally do not issue public statements concerning the status of an investigation. However, given the circumstances of Mrs. Robinson's unalivement and the public concern surrounding the investigation, it is important to reassure the public that experienced federal agents and seasoned prosecutors extensively reviewed the available evidence and have concluded that the federal charges cannot be pursued.
That's
I don't know why I'm taking this so personal.
well, Sherelle, we are taking it personal because it feels like, it happened over there, and it's like Americans, like North Charlotte, North Carolina, South Carolina, whatever she was from, is not taking it as if it was
See, here,
somebody of another race. You know what I'm saying?
okay, so I
That's how
see a
we
lot of
feel.
people in the comments saying it's racism. Uh, this is what ties me to this case. We seen it on tape. It was absolutely extremely difficult to watch.
Very.
We don't even have to, in my opinion, what is there to investigate? We seen what happened.
Right. I mean, you would think that they would try to at least gather the people that was involved to have them expedited back to Mexico. Something, but to say that they're not filing any charges, I'm sure her mom is like, justice will never be served in her eye. If the U.S. can't help them, we know that Mexico can't help them. You
Maybe
know,
this is the problem. But I feel like the FBI, the CIA are real elite investigation people, are very good at what they do. And what they had to do was establish that there was some kind of plan created here in the US to have it under US jurisdiction.
right?
And I don't believe they don't know where they are. They can find whoever they want these days. So it's not the 70s anymore with all of the technology. The US has the capability of finding people. Not only that,
Exactly,
like look at how Obama handled Al Qaeda. They went into the man's house, okay,
exactly.
in the middle of the night. So I don't know what's
Maybe
going on.
on the flip side, maybe the U.S. has that information on where they are, and they're just going to turn them over to Mexico because they can't press any charges.
I refuse to believe that the United States will just toss this case aside. So I'm going to choose to believe that there was a serious issue of them not being able to prove this case because I just don't want to live in that kind of world. I don't know if I'm going into denial. I just don't see it's gotten public attention. But you know what? I'm this has happened before. This has happened before.
Yeah,
And that's why I'm so upset. We've seen people be unalived, African Americans be unalived, and we don't see justice. But I'm going to
right.
try to just stay in the middle here and remain calm and until get more information. Because right now, so they're supposed to be holding a press conference. Let me try to go to this place for the press conference. I'm going to remain calm.
Right. And I mean, I hope that, they're exporting them back to Mexico, because you think about it, there's probably a lot of people out there that wants to see justice done.
Mhm.
But like I read somewhere where, okay, if the FBI can't get it done, then the streets can get it done.
Yeah, no, we don't need that.
We don't need no more of that.
Ugh. So it looks like Benjamin Crump is there. Hold on, let me put this on the screen.
Okay.
How do I do this so I can play the tape? Hold on. Go share. Mm-mm-mm. Ugh.
That's sad.
There's gotta be more to this story. Geez, I got too many tabs open. Hold on, guys. It's taped. It's not live yet, so there's gotta be more to this story that I. Okay, hold on.
Okay.
Hold on. Okay, let me do this. Someone just sent me some information. I got to close these tabs.
Okay.
This is crazy. Hold on, guys. Sorry. All right, I just got an email from someone. Let me read this, see what
Okay.
he's saying to me. Hold on. Okay. Okay. Okay, Phil. Okay, he says new federal prosecutors will not file criminal charges in the death of Shaquella Robinson. They said they don't have enough evidence, Sherelle. How do they not have enough evidence? I'm
Hmm.
confused.
I
So
guess to say that it
somebody
was
from the someone that I talked to from the Washington Post said that they just didn't have enough evidence. Hold on. I don't understand what we all seen the tape.
right. Maybe they're trying to figure out because they couldn't prove that it was premeditated in the U.S.
Okay. So they're saying that there was absolutely no evidence to even. So what it looks like happened is that they all remained silent. So did they interview them? Hold on. Did they interview the Cabo Six? They're not releasing that information. What is happening? This is what they're not releasing that information. I refuse to believe that the U.S. isn't doing anything. A lot of times, the FBI operate in silence. So
Right.
I'm thinking maybe this is some kind of move here that because that doesn't make any sense.
Mm-mm. Maybe they expedited them to back to Combo to for questioning. Well, they don't do questioning over there. They just lock you up.
Here, let me play this video really quickly. Mm. Hold on, guys, because they're saying that. Hold on.
It's bow time.
Oh, geez, how do I turn this down? I can't turn it down. My goodness, hold on. I don't understand, but I'm not privy to all the information. This is crazy. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Me either.
Maybe there's something going on that I don't know about. Come on. I tried to do it. Hold on, let's try it again. I don't want to sit here and watch this damn commercial.
I know, right?
Okay. Oof. Maybe, I'm not, and he's right. Hold on, let me turn this up. Oh, they were saying that Benjamin Crump is there and that they told the family yesterday.
Mm.
So that's so the family's there. So they told the family before they gave. I want to know about this press conference. Ugh, I just
Facts. If
don't
everyone knew how
understand.
to report child abuse in
I just don't understand.
I know it.
Anyway, what are your thoughts, Sin? Because I'm just gonna. What are your
I'm
thoughts?
My thoughts are I'm hoping that, and they can't say that that the five or the six have been expedited back to Mexico. Because if the FBI had him in custody and they didn't say anything, they remained silent.
There's also a chance too that they could be working with the Mexican officials.
Exactly. Exactly. And that they're only speaking for the US as far as no charges will be filed against him.
Yeah.
I'm
I mean,
thinking that.
I see what you're saying, Cecilia. Cecilia, she's saying you do understand. Don't be so naive. But we can't just let's just stay calm and everybody let's hear what they have to say. Because I don't want to get all riled up right away. I just don't.
Right.
But I know what you're saying, Cecilia. But I just have to.
Maybe. I mean, I'm hoping that's it.
Yeah.
Let the cartels handle them. I mean, not the cartels, but
uh, I don't know. I don't know. I'm trying to let's just all remain calm before
right.
I know what you're saying, Cecilia. You're saying it is what it is, but
Yeah. And it's sad because, we all, I guess they couldn't prove that it was premeditated, is what I'm
they're
praying that,
saying, yeah.
yeah, and that they have them and they probably shipped them back to Mexico to face those charges there because it happened there. There's no way they let these 6 people go or 5 go without letting Mexico know we have them. And who knows, Mexico probably came and picked them up.
Everybody's pissed. People say they're not trying to stay calm.
No,
uh, yeah, I don't know. Ain't much I can say. I'm waiting on this press conference. Hold on one second. Child, it's just
ridiculous.
heartbreaking.
It
Only
is. And I don't want to imagine how her mother feels, but can you imagine how her mom feels?
no, I cannot.
No.
Because I'm a mom.
Yeah, me too. I said I couldn't imagine,
Yeah.
and I don't want to imagine. So, I mean, and
Oh,
it's
hold on.
sad.
Sebastian, are you calm?
I'm calm, but I
Yeah.
could get riled up. I could,
We
but
could.
the
Quick.
thing is, I want to say this. I saw that this case could have did happen the way it happened. It happened. Like I saw that the FBI probably was not going to do anything because the whole situation happened in Mexico. But the FBI can pressure the Mexican authorities to do something. They could have done that. I personally believe that I know the chat is going to come for me hard for what I'm about to say. We did not, the community, the black community did not do enough to bring this message out as much as we should have. I'm going to
I
say,
That's wrong.
and I'm going to say this as well. They should have gotten a better attorney. They should have, I like Ben Crump sometimes, but they should have never went with Ben Crump. He's always doing other things. He always got cases all
Well,
over the 50
what's
states.
her Sue Robinson? He was co-counsel for the pub. They had another attorney. I believe her name is Sue Ann Robinson. Let me pull it up.
Yeah, as I'm saying, I don't think we did enough as a community, the black community, to bring this story out. We we should have been emailing our members of Congress. We
Did
should
you
have been.
email?
Yes, I did email actually.
Okay. Okay, but I'm okay. Let me share. I'm wait till he done. Sorry.
It's okay though. It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I actually I've I've retweeted things. I've done all these things, and I didn't like the way
Do you
how
know how many bloggers covered this story,
a lot of
Sebastian?
Yeah.
bloggers covered this story. And I feel
Mm-hmm.
another thing is I'm not gonna say it, but I feel like YouTube did not want this story to be out as much either.
Maybe I don't know. I can't think.
I
And
don't like the way it just happened. Like, and I don't like the way if they let the Cabo Six free, I'm like, we need precedent. Like this cannot be happening. This is not the first time we've been hearing this nonsense of Americans going missing abroad, especially melanated ones. This is not the first time.
I don't know. Somebody else talk, please.
Sherelle, I want to say is, everybody has their own opinion. I hate when something tragic happen and we know it's wrong, and people do whatever they do. Everybody do their own thing, but I hate when we try to bring the blame back to ourselves. I'm sorry, Sebastian. I totally disagree with you. I
It's
think,
okay. It's okay. You
yeah,
can
yeah,
disagree with
yeah,
me.
yeah. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. We can always talk about, oh, we should have did this, oh, we should have did that. The point is, a lot was done. Let's give credit where credit is due. A lot was done, and sometimes it doesn't depend on what you do. It's who it is. Point blank. It ain't gonna change nothing. It's who it is. If this was a little white girl, I'm sorry, it would have been a total different story.
Yes, it would
Okay.
have.
Okay, so I'm just saying, don't bring it. I'm saying you can't say the black community didn't do enough. They did. They did a lot. They did a
But
lot.
listen,
I,
when
I,
the whole Gabby Petito situation happened,
oh,
they made sure that her name was on the news every single day. Every single day. Gabby
okay,
Petito's name
okay.
was
So
on
we
the
control the
news.
news. That's what I'm saying. We can only do so much.
We have
The news,
BET.
the news, the news. The BET is not ran by black people. Don't you know that? You don't know that by now? They don't even own BET. Black people don't even own BET. So I'm just saying that let's stop putting the blame back on when something happened to a black person and something don't come out the way we wanted to come out. That we blame it back on the black people. It's not like that.
No,
Okay,
I'm not
let's just
blaming the other thing on it. I'm saying that
okay.
obviously the blame goes to the Cabo Six. No one,
No, I'm saying authority wise, babe. That's all I'm saying.
authority wise, the issue
Author-
is we would have never had control of what happened in Mexico, but we could have clearly made the FBI could have told the Mexican
Well,
authorities to do
okay.
Okay,
charges.
all right, I'm done.
All right.
Sebastian.
Everybody, this is heated. Everybody's heated. But but oh, let's just hear the press conference. I just want to hear what they have to say first, because a lot of people are going to go off. People are going to go off.
Sharia, can I say
Hi.
something?
Yeah, go ahead, girl.
Listen here. First of all, this ain't the first time we done had to fight for our melanated skin sisters to get the justice that they need. Okay, so now they done said they ain't gonna do nothing. It's time for us to stand up and make them do something.
Amen.
Like we cannot sit down on our behinds and watch our children being slaughtered and then we gonna sit here and take it. No, we're not gonna take it. It was the same thing with George Floyd. They did the same thing to him when he died. At first they didn't want to say, oh, them officers killed him. It took us going out there and protesting every day. So I don't care where you at. I'm gonna need you to get up on your apps and you email every congressperson in your neighbor in your rectum. I'm gonna
The
post it on my
Department of
social
Justice.
media.
Department of
Yes,
Justice.
that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying because this is not gonna stand. And while Biden is over there in Ireland, he need to be back here finding out what he gonna do because we the ones that voted you in. Believe it or not, okay? Let's be all the way serious. You wouldn't have been there if it wasn't for us, melanated sisters. So you need to do something.
Amen. Thank you. In my opinion,
I think I feel like a gut been punched in the stomach. But yeah, the people have to speak up. We have to speak up. And I thought we did, but it's not over. We got to keep speaking up.
and we
This is
can't just we won't just speak up for Shinquella. This has happened multiple times. Like we
Well,
need
the
to speak
thing
up for
is, the
all of
thing is,
them.
even when we speak up, they try to silence us, and so we gotta let them know that we're not gonna be silent because that mama right now, she's having to live life. That was her only baby. Well, that was her daddy's only baby. I know she got another daughter, but I'm just saying. Here's the thing: that baby didn't deserve to leave here. And yes, I'm gonna call her a baby because she was in her 20s, her early 20s, and I have children that's in their early 20s, and I am so scared of raising kids in this world now. Where they can go on a trip and all of a sudden you lost your baby. Like,
and
no,
videotape it and put it on Instagram.
that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think a lot of people is taking in consideration the horror that you saw. This lady being body slammed naked on the internet, and it traveled like all over the place before people start censoring it.
Yeah, but a lot of
Somebody else.
times, things like this, people handle it in the streets. Sad to say, but people handle it in the street. When people think justice not done, people handle it in the street. You really think that that girl's gonna all six of them gonna be able to walk
Hold
around?
on, Val. Hold on, Val. Let me let Terrence speak because it looks like he's at work. Sound off real quickly, Terrence. Go ahead. Can you hear me,
Trav or Terrence?
Terrence?
Um,
House husband, speak. Can you hear us?
You're
Uh,
on mute.
you're on mute. You're on mute. You're on mute. Terrence, can you hear us? He got a bad connection. He keep calling in. I see he was at work, then he went outside.
Well,
Can
let
you
me
hear
go.
me, Terrence? Okay, he's on mute. Call back in. Okay, now I'm backed up. He can't call back in. You're on. Okay, he
I'll
lost
get
his
off. Let him do it. I'll get off.
Go ahead, Val. I
No, no,
interrupted
no, no.
you.
I said, I'm gonna let him. I'm gonna get off. So as soon as he pop back in, Sherelle, you can let him back in.
Okay.
It doesn't matter. Everybody gonna have their own opinion. It's gonna be a touchy subject regardless. So
Say yours really quick. You think what should we do next?
I'm confused about what to do next. To tell you the truth, I really can't say what to do next because right now we all in shock over the whole thing. Okay, we're gonna anything we say now is gonna be spoken out of anger and
Yeah.
frustration.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Mhm.
it's not what can we do next? We really got to sit down and think about what to do next. That's all.
Yeah.
Someone has an echo.
Ladame, Sweet Tea, you have an echo.
Okay.
All right.
How's that
Cheryl,
better?
can I say something real quick and I'll drop off?
Yeah, who said that?
Ro did.
Go ahead,
Ladon.
Ro.
Okay. Oh, was somebody else trying to talk?
Ladam,
Yeah,
can you
me.
hear us? She has a connection. Ladam.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. Sound off.
Do you still hear echo?
No echo. Go ahead. Hold on, Ro. I'll get back to you. You have connection problem.
Okay.
Ladam, we could hear you.
Okay, fine. I was waiting for someone else. I just joined this and like, am I hearing correctly? No charges?
You heard correctly. Yeah, I know.
Are you serious?
I know.
Wait a minute. This government, right, even before the cartel even asked for a ransom for the people that that got kidnapped near Brownsville, they gave up the $50,000 so quickly, right? Okay, and I'm not even sure they asked for ransom. Okay, but in this case, we have film, everything to back up. You saw what happened to that girl.
Yeah.
And you're saying no charges? Wait a minute, something covert is happening here. Something
Terrence,
covert
can you
is
hear us
happening.
now?
Every one of them. Each and every
Yeah, can
one
you
of
hear me?
them.
Hold
That
on,
had something to
Brad.
do with
Let's let Terrence talk because he's at work. Go ahead, Terrence. Sound off real quickly.
Hey, Sherelle. Hey, everybody. I have an unpopular opinion, and people are not going to really like it. But from what I've been hearing, because I'm close to Virginia and North Carolina and stuff, is that she wasn't a good person. The girl fought her.
Wait,
Whoa.
hold on. You heard
The
something.
girl fought her. The girl that fought her, she stuck up her brother. But that's not the first time that she's done that. And do y'all know what a stick up girl is? Do y'all know what
Okay,
that
stop.
what
Slow
that
down. I'm confused. Hold on. You're saying that Shaquilla was the stick-up girl, or does your name?
Yes, no, Shaquilla, she would go around and get guys to go out on a date, and then they would show up and get on a date with her, and they
Where
would
did
get
you hear
robbed
this?
or something bad, but in the hometown,
Well,
and
let me
that's
say
why.
this, Terrence. It doesn't
What does
matter.
that have to do with anything?
Hold on. Let me
Yes,
finish.
but I mean,
It doesn't.
because these are not good people that she's dealing with. So
But you
therefore,
don't. I don't care who you are. You don't deserve to get beat up on
Unalive.
Instagram and unalive.
neither does those guys. But neither do those guys deserve to get beat up or unalive either. But what I'm saying is, people are like, what they got to do with anything? It's money. You don't know who's behind those guys and what money was exchanged. You don't know that. We don't really know who these guys were and who they were connected to. The
What are you
streets is
saying?
a.
I'm confused. You're
I'm
saying
saying
Uh-uh.
the street people. You can't do that to people that's out in the street. You don't know who's behind them. You don't know what money was exchanged.
But
That's what I'm saying.
let's say Shaquille was a straight out drug dealer.
Right?
Nobody's allowed to take your life. Point
No
blank.
Amen.
one is
Period.
allowed to take. No one. Okay, y'all listen to the whole point. No one is allowed to take your life, but money can be exchanged. Y'all think that all lawyers and judges and everybody are on the up and up? Y'all don't think that these people can be paid off? Come on now, this is America. Everybody got their hand out. Every hand can be washed. I don't care if it is the United States government. Their hands can be greased too. That's what I'm trying to get y'all to understand. It could be something bigger at play. That's all I'm trying to get you to understand because we don't know who those guys were or who those guys knew.
I agree. There could be things that we don't know about this case. but that don't mean that anybody could just put you unalive you on Instagram on tape and we see it carried out and you should walk away free. That's not right.
And then
So
lie to the family.
even if there is a bigger part of the story where we don't know, some kind of justice should be done. You're
How many
not
times
allowed
we've
to
seen?
take
How
anybody's
many
life.
times we've seen? Sure, how many
Well, I
times we've seen
don't.
people
Let me tell you,
unalive
I
by
don't.
police officers? We've seen people unalive by police officers, and then nothing ever happened to them. So what are you saying? People get unalived all the time by
And
somebody,
you
and nothing
can't
gets done
accept
about
that.
it.
You can't accept that, Terrence. We should never live in a world where this person was unfairly unalive, and that's what he get. What kind? That's not a society. We should
But
never
but
accept being unalive.
but y'all the ones always talking about karma. But aren't y'all always talking about that that's somebody's karma?
No,
Maybe
this
that
is
was
not
her karma.
karma.
No, maybe that was her karma for doing that what she did to those guys.
No,
Whoa.
Wait a minute.
no,
She
Hold on.
set
No,
Hold
somebody.
on.
No,
Hold
she
on.
set somebody. She set somebody up.
no. Trav, hold on. Let everybody speak. Ro, go ahead. You
I
wanted
ain't
to
got the chance
say
to
something
speak
to
yet.
him.
yeah, like I
Hold on, Trav. We're gonna stay calm. Go ahead, Ro.
Okay, like I said in the chat, the United States government has always been a racist state. It'll be that way
No,
until
I
we
wanted you to talk to Terrence about what he's saying
But,
because you were.
what I was going to say is Jean Paré Baptist, who's the speaker who was speaking on this to the reporters, she was getting upset and was really irate. Like, why do you keep on asking me questions about this case? We're doing everything possible. We're talking to the Mexican government.
Right.
Apparently, they weren't talking to the Mexican government because nothing is happening. This is not a kismet type of situation. This is not karma. This is political entities arguing back and forth and saying that the black man or the black woman is not worth their time.
Let me
I
ask you
agree.
this, Terrence. What do you think should happen next?
Next is I think that they need to go and protest the Justice Department. It's up to the Justice Department to decide what cases are picked up, whether you black, white, or brown. But I'm
Yeah.
just saying that if there's someone else in power who has the money to shut the case down, then it's not going to go anywhere. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying no one deserves anything. Nobody, those guys
Please don't
deserve
let
it,
you
Sway deserve
over.
it. No one did deserve it. Nobody. I'm not saying that. What I'm just saying is sometimes things run deep in the street and they can reach all the way up. And if somebody want this case dead, they want the case dead. That's all I'm saying.
And that's when we need to start
Okay.
screaming and voicing our opinions, and like
Well, I don't believe
Sebastian
that
said,
at
and
all.
writing your
Members of the
government and your state representatives and saying this needs to stop, because she is a black person on there, the speaker who's giving the correspondence to this case. So it's not like, they're saying, oh, well, this is a white woman saying we don't care about black people. This is a black person saying we don't care about black people. And that's just not right. We need
All
to
right.
vocal.
Terrence, I'm gonna let other people talk. You just stay on as long as you can. I know you're at work, but whenever you have to go back in, just drop. Trav, you wanted to say something to Terrence. Go ahead.
I don't want us to talk to the daggone Terrence. I just want to say if karma was real, the Cabo Six and all them lawyers and the FBI, all of them would be unalive too. And I hope they get it. I hope they get it. They deserve it.
Breeze, sound off. Breeze.
I am completely shocked.
Yeah, me too.
I woke up to your chat and I'm already having a bad day. Like, what in the world? But I honestly I agree with and I'm so sorry. There's a 50-50 chance I'll get this wrong. It's either Sebastian or Emmanuel.
It's Sebastian.
Sebastian, I'm sorry. But I kind of agree with Sebastian. I feel like there was more we could have done. There's definitely more I could have done. There's definitely more a lot of people could have done, because honestly, for a point in time, I heard nothing. For a point in time, there was silence.
Well, maybe I tried. I reached out to Nancy Grace. I did the whole tagging the FBI, but
Hi, Cheryl.
But you know what? I also think, you know, there's still more we can do. This isn't over. This isn't if we can, because I know we can rally together because we've done it before, you know, and we've won before. It's not over unless we decide it is.
We
But
need to stop
We
traveling
won
to
when? When did
Mexico.
we win?
We need to stop going to Mexico.
Hey,
We fund
Sherelle.
tourism. We need to stop
Hi,
going there.
Sherelle and panel.
Hold,
Can I?
hold on 1 second. Sebastian was speaking. Go ahead, Sebastian.
We
Oh,
need to stop going to Mexico. We fund their tourism till they do something. We need to stop going there.
You
We
think we should
funded.
put the pressure on Mexico?
Sherelle, I live in Mexico. I wanted to speak on that because it's. Can I just say something real
Please
quick?
go ahead,
Sure.
True. Go ahead.
Okay, so I live in Mexico. Okay, I'm black. My whole family is here. We've been here for 3 years. We moved from the United States 3 years ago. And what's going on, what we're hearing on this side, and what's going on in the U.S. has nothing to even do with Mexico. Mexico hands are tied. It's up to the United
Exactly.
States FBI to do their job. And because this is a person of color, it's not even important. It's not of any importance. That's what's really going on. And even though she might have been a bad person, a drug dealer, she could have been Satan herself. It does not matter. She was unalive. And she was also set up because whatever happened between her
Yeah.
and those other people she unalived in the state, they set her up and brought her here to get away with unaliving her here because the law here is totally different from the United States.
So explain that to me.
So if I unalive someone here in Mexico, right, as a Mexican, as long as I have the money, I will never see jail.
Is
It
that
doesn't
what you're
matter.
saying, Terrence? Is that what you're saying?
She's
We
right.
finna stop eating tacos. We finna stop eating
It has
tacos
nothing
too.
to do with boycotting Mexico because what you guys don't understand, just like someone gets unalive in California, and you're going to tell someone never go back to the United States because it happened in California. Mexico's a very large country. I live in Guadalajara. I live 24 hours away from Cabo. Okay? So you can't say boycott Mexico because that happened in Cabo.
Right.
We have a lot of expats living here. I would say when I got my residency here, which is so easy to get in Mexico, there's about 95% of the people that was at that immigration office. I would say out of the 95% there, about 55% was African American and the others was clear people. Okay.
So I see a lot of people in the chat agreeing with you, but
yeah,
that doesn't explain, or does it, why the United States dropped
this
the
is what
ball?
I'm about to say. So
Okay.
Mexico hands are tied, right? So if you come here and you unalive someone here in Mexico, like I said, if you have the money, nothing's going to happen. The law is not, you're comparing the United States law to Mexican law. It's not the same. I had a conversation with a local in Cabo who said, if you have the money, you will never go to jail. You can unalive someone in front of the police. And if you pay that police enough money, you will not be arrested.
Okay,
So,
let me ask you this. Could it be a possibility that the United States was looking into this, needed some information from Mexico, and then Mexico just didn't do anything about it?
No, it's a situation where it's a person of color. We don't give a rat's behind. So if Mexico is not pushing anything, then the United States is not going to push anything because of who it is. It has nothing to do with her being unalive. It's the person that was unalive just doesn't have enough fire behind them to bring justice for that person.
Wow.
That's what I'm saying. Because Mexico is, I mean, to be honest, where I live, as a person of color, and my husband was a former detective, we have never felt more safe as people of color living in Mexico than in the States. When my husband would be out on the road and stuff like that, I would be, when he retired, because he's not a detective anymore, he would get pulled over, and he was a former detective for nothing, just being a black person driving a car. We have never had that here. My two daughters live here, 17 and 22. We walk at night. We go to the malls at night. We're safe. We feel safe. This has nothing to do with Mexico as a country. So it's sad to hear people say boycott, 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 when that is an isolated situation because of the friend she kept. Okay, that was a setup job because of what she did in the States. Somehow they were able to get her in Mexico because the laws here are trash. That's all this is. This is not a boycott. Black people need to be
So
scared.
you're saying if people start marching here, there's nothing the United States can do, because
if people start protesting and doing whatever, that does not work anymore. The days of protesting is over. You need to start with the lawmakers putting these people in place who don't care. They never cared about us. They never cared about our color of our skin and justice for us. That was always the case. Stop acting like this is a new thing. Look at how long they did with the Claire girl who went missing in Aruba. Look how long that they were on top of that story. That girl, what was the name of that girl who went missing?
Natalie.
Yeah, Natalie Holloway case. Mm-hmm. That case went on and on and on till the break of dawn. Okay, but there's not enough fire behind Shaquella because of the color of her skin, is what I'm saying, and they never cared about us. So nothing's ever gonna happen with that case, especially if she has the ties to what the guy was saying with the drugs and all of that. I'm sorry, I don't know if I can say that word. With all those things she was doing, that money goes deep. So we don't know the behind the scenes of all what's happening and what happened and all of that. So that's why nothing's ever gonna happen. But I just want people to understand it has nothing to do with Mexico. If the FBI wanted to prosecute, they could have.
Unfortunately,
that's why they need a bullet to the brain.
I agree.
I'm gonna drop.
Yes.
You know what? Who is that? True. Thank you for justifying my case. I'm gonna drop the line because that's exactly what I said.
You're absolutely right. You are.
I agree with you, True.
People just boycott. Some people. I'm gonna stop eating tacos. The tacos in the States taste nothing like the tacos here, so that's even ridiculous. But anyway, the point I'm making it has nothing to do with Mexico in that sense. FBI, come on, this is the United States of America. Right. How much power do we have? We have a lot of power in the United States.
May I say something?
Sorry, go ahead.
No, what I'm saying, okay, boycott tacos, that's insane, okay? What we need to boycott here is, financially. Don't spend any money. That's what we need to do, okay? Just like in the 60s, when they stopped riding the buses, they had to start, change things so to get people back riding the bus. America is only concerned about the dollar bill. And that's the only way we're going to make them do halfway right, for us. It's all about money. So let's make it all about money. Let's make it all about money. But this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
Sherelle. I am totally through.
I have a question for the young lady that's in Mexico. Now, we've been told before that Mexico was waiting for, I guess, the okay from the FBI here. Mm-hmm. And is it possible that they are trying to, or they may have the five that was involved with this in custody or en route to come back to Mexico?
No. I don't even think that's gonna happen.
Oh, okay.
Not. Like I said, because it happened here, it's practically they're gonna get away with that. Unless the United States and the FBI and whatever else going on in the United States does something to do whatever they need to do to the Cabo Six. It's not a Mexico. This happened in Mexico, but it's technically not a Mexico problem. I don't know.
The United States dropped the ball.
They dropped the ball. They dropped the ball because of who it is and what they look like. That's all.
Lily, what were you gonna say, Lily?
Hey, beautiful Sherelle.
Hey, girl.
My soul is so shaken right now and broken. Yeah. And this caller that just spoke, everything she's saying is right. Sherelle, a lot of times when I go to Mexico, I don't even tell people. I just went March the 14th and came back. Mexico is not the problem. I go to Mexico 4 times out the year.
Thank you.
Mexico is not the problem. It's our government. It's Joe Biden somewhere lost in the hallways. Can't
It's all
use
our
his brain to figure
Joe
out where he
Biden.
is. Sherelle, it is
It's our
not the
government.
Mexican people. I'm going to tell you, I even talked to somebody when I went to Mexico March the 14th. It is not them. Joe Biden doesn't care. Kamala doesn't care. They don't care. She's black.
Yep.
And
Sherelle,
let me tell you something. Every country has problems. Every country.
You know that the
Hold on 1 second, True. Hold on 1 second, True. Go ahead, Lily. Go ahead.
They don't bother me in Mexico. And honestly, I just put a video live on Instagram. I actually thought about moving there. It's actually safer than America.
I love it here. I love it.
I watch this lady every day on TikTok that lives there. And I go there 4 times out the year. And when I go, since this happened to Shaquella, I don't even hardly tell anybody because I even went back in October. But the thing is, y'all, everywhere there's crime. But our country, SHIT on us. You can live in Mexico. The price you pay for mortgage and rent here in America, you can get 10 places and live good. Joe Biden doesn't care. You know how they said George Bush doesn't care about black people? Joe Biden, Kamala Harris do not care about black people because they could have done something about this problem. This is a problem in America because Mexico is not sharing this pot.
And if I ever see Joe Biden or Kamala, I'm going to hit them with my car.
Let me tell you something. They don't set off something to people where the American people going to take this in their own hands because Joe Biden and Kamala did not stand in authority and do the right thing by black people. All they care about is getting our black vote, and they will never get my vote again. I wash my hands of the Democratic Party. I am tired. Black people, we have given them so much, and what have we got? Nothing. We have not received our reparations. And he lied to us. He promised reparations. He promised student loan forgiveness, et cetera, et cetera. And all we have received was high food prices, high gas prices, rent going up, mortgages going up, everything going up. We got nothing. The American people, we need to sue our own government because they give a DHMN about us. So nobody in the chat on this thing should be blaming Mexico. Yeah, I'm telling you, it's not Mexico. It's not. They are doing their part. Our country is SHIT on us. I'm telling you. They don't care about black skin. They never have.
Go ahead, True.
And Sherelle, just so you know, the FBI was in Aruba when Natalie Holloway went missing. Just so you know. So if it's a situation where the FBI don't get involved with other countries, why did they go to Aruba and investigate that?
You're right. If they wanted to do something, this is the United States, they would have done something. Emmanuel, sound off, Emmanuel.
Hey, Sherelle.
Hey.
I'm really upset about this. When I saw the notification, I couldn't believe it. That somebody was unalived and nothing's going to be done about it. It's unbelievable. I agree with what Lily said. Mexico is not the problem. I went there for spring break and it's really peaceful. And I agree with Lily as well. Shame on Joe Biden and shame on Kamala Harris because they had the power to bring this to the forefront and really go after it, and they did nothing. So if they run again, I think we should not vote for them because they haven't helped. They haven't said everything they said they were going to do, and this was something that they could have done, but they didn't. I think it's a super sad situation, all of it.
Shan.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, I have a different perspective than everybody else on this.
Okay.
My take is Mexico, the country, the government is part of the problem. And I say that because there's a process that has to be handled when you have an international incident.
Okay.
And everybody talks about Natalie Holloway. Natalie Holloway's parents, and you can Google it and find out the information as well. Her parents spent a lot of money on a lot of the things that happened in searching and going after that story. Okay. So it's not cut and dry. The U.S. can jump in and do what
Sherelle, the press conference on.
Okay, hold on. What channel? CNN?
I'm on CBS right now.
Hold on.
Jarrell, I'm gonna drop myself, okay?
Hey, okay, good. Okay, thank you guys. Let me find this press conference.
Before I drop, just let me say this. The whole government, they can be found hanging from an old oak tree for all I care. I'm about to drop.
All
Y'all
right.
have a
Let me
good
find this
afternoon.
story. Hold
Bye,
on.
Travis.
Bye.
I think the one thing everybody's missing in this, I think this is the one thing everybody's missing, is that we have a young lady that is not here anymore, and she's not gonna get any
I
justice.
gotta find this press conference. I'm sorry.
Yes, I agree
Olivia,
with you. I agree with you in my opinion. And the thing is,
how do I get
this
to this
is
press conference? You're saying you're on ABC press.
I'm on CBS on regular TV.
Oh, you're on TV. Okay,
doesn't CBS have a YouTube channel?
I'm going there right
I'm
now.
pretty sure they do.
And the other thing
Yeah,
is,
because I
it's
don't
not
see it.
just for Shanquella. This movement is not just for Shanquella. This movement is for everyone who goes, every girl that goes missing in these countries, and we never hear anything.
And that's why I wanted to speak about specifically Shanquilla, that
Bland's
particular
mother
case.
had to do the
It
same thing
it
when they told us all that an investigation revealed that her cause of death was suicide. And I think most about in Shanquella's case, because her attack was captured on video, and now we're being told that there isn't going to be an arrest, or there aren't going to be any charges dropped. It reminds me of George Floyd and how we were told that while we were watching with our own eyes, Derek Chauvin putting his knee on his neck for 8 minutes and 46 seconds, we were being told that he was having a heart attack and that he was suffering from a drug overdose. So while we're here disappointed, we're not deterred. We're going to continue to press on. We're going to continue to demand that there's a high level of diplomatic intervention in this case, that if the U.S. authorities are now again telling us, oh, well, it's back on Mexico because Mexican authorities have to do something, we don't have a problem with that. We know that we have to carve our own path to justice, and we've been doing that from the very beginning. Mrs. Robinson has demonstrated tremendous strength, and I talk about it all the time, as well as Kola, her sister, having to bury a child, grieve for a child, get through all of that stuff, and then fight for justice for your child at the same time. And then being advised today, well, despite there being a video showing a vicious and brutal attack of your child while she's naked and obviously not fighting back, that there's nothing that can be done in terms of charges being filed by the FBI, that you have to seek your redress and your justice somewhere else. And that's fine. Mrs. Robinson, again, is obviously disappointed, as is all the family at the meeting today. But we're not deterred. We're still going to be marching. We're still going to rally in DC on May 19th, because it shouldn't be that in the country that Black women, Black and brown victims of crime have to do this every time they are victims of crimes. But it is unfortunately what it is. And again, any discrepancies or any issues with respect to Mexican autopsy versus the autopsy conducted by the FBI, all of those things are going to be a result of a delay. And now we're witnessing the result of a delay, which is why there was always a concern, which is why I always say this is the people's case, this is the people's movement that said, hey, there's no reason why a Black woman should go on vacation with her friends, be returned to her family in a box, and nothing be done for 5 months, that the FBI be permitted to sit on their hands, that they be permitted to say, we're working, because justice delayed can be justice denied. We all know that and have seen it time and time again. And so that's why I say, on behalf of the family, again, we're very disappointed, very deeply disappointed. But we're not deterred, because it's something that we've seen before, and we know that we have to carve our own path to justice. Ms. Robinson knew that when she asked me to go on a fact-finding mission to Mexico, that we were obviously in a state of affairs where there's two different justice systems in America. And we know that in ours, we have to fight for our justice. We have to rally for our justice. We have to beg for the same constitutional rights, and Shanquella is doing that even in death. Even in death, she's having to fight for her right as a U.S. citizen, as a victim of a crime. The U.S. authorities have to understand and have to know that even if for them it's not about Shaquella, that United States citizens cannot go to Mexico, commit a crime that we all saw on a video, and then come back to America and say, we're on base, we're safe, we're not going to be charged with a crime. That cannot be the message that the U.S. authorities want to send. So again, discrepancies caused or discrepancies in the autopsy results between Mexican authorities that we've all been discussing, that we've been discussing, unfortunately, and not being discussed by the right individuals, have all been caused by delays. If it had been taken serious from the very beginning, if the internet and the people and social media didn't have to create the movement behind the case, and the authorities would have gotten involved the minute the video surfaced, there wouldn't have been a delay. There would have been immediate statements taken from the individuals involved. There would have been time to take an immediate autopsy of the body before it was embalmed. All of those things would have been done, but because it was the death of a young, Black, beautiful, brilliant, educated woman who was on vacation, justice was delayed. There was no investigation done. It was not taken seriously until the people had to say, hey, we're not going to accept that this is just what it is. This can't be just what it is. We see with our own eyes an attack, an assault, a crime happening, and nothing's being done. That came from you all. That came from the people saying, we demand answers. And today we actually ended up with way more questions than answers. And so that's why I'm determined and fully aware, and the team, Ben Crump, Tamika Mallory, Until Freedom, Mario Black, all of us, we stand with this family, and we're going to stand with this family till the very end. And we're going to be in Washington, and we're going to rally, because we understand, unfortunately, what the job is, what the work is, and that we have to carve our own path of justice in these cases. And we've seen it time and time again. And I've said it in other press conferences. I would like to be put out of this line of business. I don't want to be here on behalf of another beautiful Black family begging for dignity and respect and basic constitutional rights. I don't want to be doing those things. But that is what it is right now. We have two separate justice systems, where one is, if you're a victim of a crime and you look a certain way, it's going to be covered by the media. It's going to be resolved in a certain way. And then we have our cases where we have to have press conferences and rallies, and we have to beg the government to intervene. And that's not okay. And that's why it's the most important work of our time. And so we're disappointed. We're not deterred. We're pressing on. We absolutely will keep you guys updated on everything that we're doing, but we're definitely pushing toward the 200th day to be in DC. We hope that everyone can join us, because the message cannot be that U.S. citizens can go overseas and commit crimes against other U.S. citizens and come back and say that they're on base, that they're safe, that they're not going to be arrested, that there's going to be such a delay in the investigation that the evidence will have time to dissipate, and they'll have time to change their stories or work on the evidence. That can't be the message, because this is the land of the free and the home of the brave, and we have U.S. constitutional rights, and there's victims' rights, and we're going to fight for that. We're going to fight for that, whether the victim of the crime is Shaquella or whether it's any Black woman. We're going to fight for that, because it's deserved. It's our right as U.S. citizens. So I'll have, do you want to speak? Okay. Do you want to speak? Okay. So I can take questions.
You mentioned a delay. Is there any kind of evidence you can share that was shared with you all to the reason why the government said that?
Sure. I said there was a delay, meaning that the video was released on November 16th. So we were advised today that the U.S. authorities didn't begin an investigation until after their own autopsy had been conducted, which would have been well after the video came out. And really the bigger issue is that without the video, before the video even came out, if you all remember, there was a statement released saying no foul play. Before any evidence was even entered, there was a statement made saying, oh, there's no foul play. That statement was never retracted, but because the case was never taken seriously from the beginning, that caused a delay. That caused Mexico to have to do their own autopsy, then the FBI to have to wait for the Robinson family to have the body transported. All of these things should have been done by U.S. federal authorities if they took the case seriously from the beginning. But it wasn't taken seriously from the beginning. The people had to move the case. We had to demand that the case be taken seriously. And those delays are going to cause discrepancies in an investigation. We all watched First 48. Know that that time when you're investigating a murder or a homicide or any crime, that you have to investigate swiftly. We saw it with the kidnapping case in Mexico. Immediately, the FBI said $50,000 reward, we're moving in, we're coordinating with the Mexican authorities. There was no swift action on this case. There was absolutely no urgency on the part of the U.S. authorities. So, did I answer your question?
Yeah, I guess I love discrepancy. They told you as far as like the Mexican autopsy.
Oh, okay, sure. So, yeah, absolutely, because it's going to be revealed. It's going to be, the feds are going to release their results of their autopsy, which was done after the body was embalmed and then transported. And they're advising that there isn't a spinal cord injury, that the Mexican autopsy says there's a spinal cord injury, but according to them, there is no spinal cord injury. They're also advising that there's swelling on Shaquella's brain, but that her cause of death is undetermined. So to me, if you are in an investigation, how are you closing an investigation on a case where the cause of death is undetermined, but we all have seen a video showing a brutal attack? That doesn't, it's not giving undetermined. It's giving there's a video and now you're telling us something else, not to believe our own eyes, which is why I invoked George Floyd's case, which is why I said, you know, that was a case where we were being told, don't believe your own eyes. Don't believe that Derek Chauvin has his knee on his neck for 8 minutes. Believe that it's really a heart palpitation or he's having some sort of drug overdose. We see the video. We see what happened. We see that she's being beaten, but we're being told that, oh, the cause of death is undetermined. And that can happen if the autopsies are delayed. That can happen.
There was an arrest warrant out of Mexico. How does the FBI statement today impact that arrest warrant? And did they give you any indication that they will extradite the people who were on that trip for Shaquella?
Right. They've indicated that that basically what they're doing is what I've talked about from the beginning, which is ping-ponging. The FBI today said, well, we're not going to press charges, but Mexico could do something if they want to do. And if Mexico wants to do something, then it's no problem. We'll be fully cooperative with anything that Mexico wants to do. So again, as you all know, I went to Mexico and Mexico said, we've sent everything over to Interpol. We've sent everything to FBI. We've sent all of our documents. We're just awaiting word from U.S. authorities on what needs to be done next. So there's a Department of International Affairs, the Department of State, obviously, who we've contacted and sent a letter to, and they know what needs to be done. And that's what's so frustrating about the case, because it's not something that's without precedence or without a protocol. And so for the United States government and for the FBI today to sit and tell myself, Mrs. Robinson, and Mr. Robinson, that there's nothing to be done on their end, they're closing their investigation, and I guess Mexico could do something if they want to, is absolutely absurd. Not just for Shaquella's case, though. It's not absurd just for her case. It's absurd for any person who would be a victim of a crime overseas committed by a U.S. citizen. How can you just say, okay, well, as long as we make it back home, we're not going to get in trouble? That makes no sense.
That's right.
Yes. 1 second. Yes.
Just out of my own curiosity, you talked about some of the action that might be taking place. The path forward right now. What can you see as the path forward right now? And it would be either to get justice or make sure it doesn't happen. You mentioned a little bit about state of Washington, but I would also imagine too, there's also all others like as they have in Mexico as well. I think that probably needs to be a lot more communication.
Exactly. And that's exactly what we've been asking for from the beginning, which is a high level of diplomatic intervention. It's going to take more than the local FBI field office in Charlotte, with all due respect to all the work that they do. It's going to take more than that, because there has to be a high level of diplomatic intervention. Heads of state have to talk to heads of state and say, listen, this is what it is. This is what happened. It's on video. We can't have U.S. citizens do this. Cannot occur. How are we going to resolve this? There needs to be a result in an amendment to the treaty or whatever has to be done. But it cannot be that you can commit a crime and come back and say you're on base. That can't be the result. So between then and now, we're absolutely preparing for the rally on the 200th day on May 19th. And then we definitely are going to still be, beating down doors and asking for our meetings in terms of, the head of the International Affairs Committee and their chair and all of the things that we've been doing. We're still going to continue that. And that's why I say, on behalf of the family, we are deeply disappointed, but we're not deterred. Yes.
I know that Mexico has issued an arrest warrant, but has Mexico issued a extradition request?
Right. And I think the issue right now, and what I'm kind of alluding to, is that if an extradition request was needed, if that was the one piece that we were all here waiting for, why wouldn't there be a high level of diplomatic intervention to say, hey, there's criminals among us. They're walking around and they hurt someone. Can you get this? There needs to be communication. And the reason why there's no communication is because the case hasn't been taken seriously.
That's right. So I guess, to your knowledge, has Mexico issued a formal request for extradition?
Absolutely. Like I said, I was advised by the Attorney General in Baja Sur directly. We have sent everything. They have everything. And remember, for the FBI to conduct their investigation, they've advised us, we're in communication with Mexico. That's how we did our investigation, to say we're not pressing charges. So if they're in communication with Mexico, why isn't part of the communication, hey guys, forgot to drop off the extradition paperwork?
So just to be clear, so Mexico has sent a request for extradition. Has the State Department said that they've received it, or have they said?
The State Department has not advised. What I'm saying is, and what I've said since I went to Mexico, which is they have advised all the documents they need to submit have been submitted. So now we're being advised, well, we're not going to press charges in the United States. Maybe Mexico's going to do something. So the point is, if you're having ongoing communication because you're involved in an investigation and you really give a damn, then that's a very simple communication. Hey guys, we're not going to be able to press charges, but you guys go ahead and prepare your extradition paperwork so we can get it sorted out, since there's criminals over here just running around free and it's hurting an American family. That's a very simple communication.
Prior to the update that went out this afternoon, what was the last communication that you had with the U.S. Attorney's Office regarding this case?
The U.S. Attorney's Office in Mexico?
And the U.S.
We were not communicating with the U.S. Attorney's Office in the United States. We were communicating with the FBI and the State Department.
And what was the most recent update you got in one case prior to the one that was released?
Oh, we were all getting the same update, which is we were investigating. Yeah, for the last 5 months.
I know the last time we spoke, you mentioned that you were meeting with White House officials last week or the week of April 1st. Did that mean happen what happened in that case? And then from the FBI, trying to get more clarity, what are they saying they need, or what is the thing that they're saying they're missing? If they're saying, Mexico wants to press charges, you can call whatever, but an extradition request has been filed, an arrest warrant has been filed. What are they saying is the missing piece so they can, move forward with someone like that?
Good question.
Okay, so 2 questions. Right. We are still going to White House, and we are still moving towards that, because our belief has always been from the beginning that it's always going to be bigger than the local feds in Charlotte, that it's going to take a high level of diplomatic intervention. because heads of state have to talk to heads of state. That's just the bottom line. It's a transnational criminal case, and so it's going to take a little bit more, especially because it involves one of us. Again, I hate to keep repeating that in the Mexican kidnapping case, that was the most swift action ever. So saying to Shaquella's family, oh, you know, we had to look around, it took us a while, we had to wait to get this autopsy result, is absolutely disingenuous, because swift action could have been taken if it was taken seriously from the beginning. And then what was the second part of your question?
What was the missing piece? Well, actually, to piggyback off of that, so I know you mentioned you were supposed to meet the week of April 3rd. Are they receptive to meet with you, or are they pushing that behind you?
Well, the issue is everyone is ping-ponging against everyone else. So first, you have to meet with this person in order to meet with this person in order to have a meeting with this. So we have now completed this piece, which again, we're disappointed by what was said today, but we're not deterred. So that's what I'm saying. We're continuing on the same path to the rally on May 19th and to have meetings with heads of state.
So you met with FBI Charlotte today. Talk to me a little bit more about that meeting, and then what are they saying is the missing piece so that it can move forward? Because I know the extradition request has been put.
Okay. So what's for years, there is not a missing piece. So I don't want there to be a narrative saying that there's a missing piece. There's no missing piece. There's a video. Her cause of death is currently undetermined, and they've advised based on their own autopsy that they cannot determine a cause of death for Shaquella. Her autopsy that took place in the United States was done after her body was embalmed, which means that there was a delay, obviously. There's an undetermined cause of death and a video showing her being beaten. So you tell me what the missing piece is.
Well, I guess so I guess the question is, so if Mexican authorities would say, hey, here are all the paperwork, requests and so forth, so what would be necessary for them to actually extradite someone? You know?
So I unfortunately am not able to be present for the supposed conversations between Mexican authorities and United States authorities on this particular case, right? I can only say what I was advised. So the Mexican authorities are saying to me, hey, listen, we don't mind giving you our investigative packet. Here it is. This is exactly the documentation that we've already sent to Interpol and the FBI. So then the FBI says, I mean, we could do something if Mexico would do something. But do you see how all that does is just create more delay and create all of this that we have to be here today? That all it would take is for someone at a high level to intervene and say, hey guys, it's an international murder investigation. Let's figure out what needs to be done. If there has to be a meeting, if I need to get on a plane, if I have to go there, if we have to do a Zoom, whatever it is. You think on a transnational criminal case that would affect tourism in Mexico, that would affect criminal law, obviously, in the United States in terms of not deterring people from going overseas to commit crimes and then returning back to the United States, that somebody could figure out how to have a meeting for them to communicate. And not to mention the fact that it's being represented to us that there is some sort of communication, because there was communication and documents exchanged for the FBI here to investigate. So it's not that they're saying we don't have communication. So if the missing piece is a document, right? Just like we can talk about it and say, hey, the missing piece is a document, so can they. And they should be. And if they were taken serious, they would have those documents in place.
You talk a bit about the person that the authorities has the arrest warrant for, his name and how they're involved. Is a friend, a former friend. There is a name that is out there, but I don't know if you've talked to Mexican authorities about that name and that arrest warrant. Or anything you talk about that person that they want arrested?
Talk about the person?
The arrest warrant. Or there's a name that's out there. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if you could say the person's name of the arrest warrant and the person that they want extradited.
Okay. So I've said it before, it's not a secret. the Mexican authorities have already identified in their investigation, based on the identification of the aggressor in the video that we all saw. They identified Dejanay Jackson as the aggressor in the case. Yes.
Civil action a possibility?
Certainly.
And another follow-up, did the FBI give you any indication if they interviewed any of the people who were on that termination clause?
Right. And they did advise that there were interviews conducted. And that's why I say any discrepancies, and I can speak plainly because at this point it's why. If you wait till 5 months after someone committed a crime,
right.
I'm not a trained investigator, but I would imagine that the people would have time, if they were involved, allegedly, in a crime, they would have the opportunity and time and space to delete text messages if that's what they wanted to do, to talk to each other about the case, which is why, generally speaking, in investigations, once you know there's an issue, you immediately and swiftly investigate to prevent delays, that would prevent discrepancies, that would prevent justice from being served. And so that's why it's so disheartening that the U.S. authorities allowed there to be such a delay in this case.
I want to think about Joe's question. Sure. Secretary, possible, lawsuit is not out of our possibility, but a lawsuit, potentially a civil suit, will create some sort of discovery and potentially knowing what documents were received, what documents were not received. And is your belief, or is it a mission to find out exactly where the ball dropped? Because I'm getting a sense from you, we're feeling like balls dropped out there. If not, balls dropped. There was certainly a lot of bureaucratic red tape. There is a lot of bureaucratic red tape that you have to go through. You kind of need to send.
I don't think there is a lot of bureaucratic tape. I think it's pretty simple that in the United States, that when there are Black and brown victims of crimes, there is a whole other set of things that have to be done than not. So that's why I said, Ahmaud Arbery's case, Ms. Wanda had to go to the state attorney herself. She had to go hire attorneys. She had to beg these people to investigate a case that in the end, we all know, ended up in convictions, and convictions not just in local court, but also in federal court for civil rights violations. But Ms. Wanda, a Black mom, had to push for that. It's not like the justice system said, hey, here's your justice. Here's what the course of action is. Here's what you need to do. She had to push for that. Sandra Bland's mom had to push for that. In George Floyd's case, their family had to push for those things. And so it's not something that is unexpected. I would think as a student of the law and as an attorney for 16 years, we could get somewhere with it, but we're not there.
But as far as that open record is at least part of the discovery process, or would be part of the lawsuit. Is that something we're actually looking at, just to see exactly where the ball may have been dropped here?
There's other ways for us to do that, a similar exploration, and I say sure in terms of the civil lawsuit because it's never outruled, but that's not where we are in this moment. In this moment, the frustration is, why is there two different systems? That's the frustration. Why do we have to go and think about, let's use a civil remedy and bend ourselves out of shape for something that's fair, in the Constitution, basic, you're a victim of a crime, this is how it should be handled, it's on video, this is how it should be handled. Why do we have to do all of those things, I think, is the frustration at this moment, and why we're saying we're pushing to still go to Washington and we want all of you to join us there, because it really is bigger than Shaquella, and it's very close to my heart, obviously, because these are my clients, and I got to learn and know Shaquella after her passing, but it should absolutely, this should be a packed room. This is a national issue. Anyone could go on vacation. Anyone can go on vacation with a group of people with malintent and be hurt, and then the people can come back and say, we're on base, we're okay, FBI isn't gonna get us, we're fine. That should not be the case.
Can you be more specific about when you're saying that you're going to go to Washington, like what your next steps are?
Oh, sure. On May 19th, we're going to go to Washington and we're going to march to the Department of State. Yes.
I just wanted to clarify. So, if
said that the FBI told you that they had conducted interviews with people who are on the trip with Shaquella?
Right.
Did they say how many people?
How many people that no? No.
With people.
Right. They said that they interviewed people that were the travel mates and that they interviewed people who were in the house and that they were in communication with Mexican authorities. Which is why I say, well, if you're in communication with them and there's an error in the process, like they're having a problem, like they say, okay, well, we can't bring an investigation because XYZ, right? Whatever they put into their inputs can't get the output that we're requesting, then they should be able to have that conversation.
And were there any other pieces of the investigation
On your
beyond
pen.
autopsy and the interviews with people who were, I guess?
That's, oh my God. So basically, thank you, opinion. I looked all over the internet. It's not being broadcast live on the internet.
I'm glad she
They
mentioned
had a
something.
little snippet on Twitter, and that's about it. But basically, that she's describing a cover up from the United States.
Yep.
Delaying. Also, she's saying on May 19th, they're going to march to the State Department. And she said something very telling at the end, that they did interview the people in the house, but she didn't say who. Is it the United States interviewed them, or was it we got a
I
lot.
think it was the Cosmo, the Cosmo
Yeah,
6.
I like to chime in.
And I wonder if
So,
I was shocked when she said there was an extradition warrant out by the Attorney General in Baja Sur.
Right.
As I said, FBI dropped the ball. As I said.
100%.
Go ahead, Essence, sound off.
Oh, I think someone is still playing it.
What'd you say?
Oh, okay. Oh, I thought I still heard it in the background. Okay, I just want to say that this is not at all like a political statement. I'm not giving my political views. I do not have any. I'm politically neutral. And I'm not trying to invoke outrage at all. I just want to give my own personal disclaimers for my personal beliefs. That's just me as a person. I do not vote. I believe in God's government. But I will say I feel some type of way about the representative for this family.
You're talking about Sue Ann Robinson, the attorney?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
I think that she is, if you are speaking candidly out of a place of, all right, like at this point, we have to garner our own justice. There's a few pieces of, there's a few things that I feel like she's omitting in her speech, right? So my thing is, you're not talking about the suppression of the media. That's number one. Number two, I feel like you're withholding details, meaning like if you said like, okay, like yes, the US government did interviews and things like that, you're not saying the number of people they're interviewed. Like certain specific elements are not being stated outrightly. And I feel as if she was trying to be politically correct, which is okay. But if you're speaking from a place where you are garnering your own justice to a point where you're setting up a protest, I feel like you should be speaking more openly. And I want to say to social media that we can't be bouncing around topics. Like our attention span's got to be a little bit longer for stuff like this. You can't demand justice and then the next day your minds is somewhere else. And I'm not saying go march and protest. I'm not saying do all that. I'm just saying from the outside looking in, because you get tired of it personally.
But there's only so much we can do. I mean, we report the information that's given to us. If we don't know, if they're not saying anything, we can't really, yeah. So,
but I'm saying like, she's like, okay, like at this point, this is the people's movement and things like that. However, I just think that when it comes to having an attention span and boycotting properly and things like that, like we have to make sure our eyes are on the prize when it comes to certain views on justice. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay. Well, let me bounce off of that one for real quick. I don't think she was saying what you thought she was saying. She said she doesn't know how many people.
Hold on 1 second. Everyone go on mute because I'm hearing an echo. And it might be you, Anthony. I'm going to get to you next. Go ahead.
She said she didn't know how many people they interviewed. That was something she didn't have the information to. She was only privy that they did do an interview. She said she didn't know how many It didn't say that. That wasn't what she was privy to. That's what she's saying. She's saying she's not even getting enough information. They don't understand because they don't have the information that they done. What they saying is, it seems like whatever they've been doing, Mexico and the US, nobody's communicating it to the family. They keep saying, oh, we're doing this, we're investigating. We talked to this person, we got search warrant, we got arrest warrants. But when she's asking these questions, well, what's going on with this? Oh, well, we're working on it. We're working together. But that's why she said, if you were really working together, somebody would get on a plane, somebody would be on Zoom, be like, well, why is this stuff not here? If you got a arrest warrant, give us the arrest warrant so we can expedite them.
Yeah.
That's what she was saying. If we can't get our own government to get involved, Mexico don't feel like they should do but the bare minimum.
Okay, let Anthony jump in because he's traveling. Sound off, Anthony.
Yes, the reason for me to come here is because I believe that us as a people need to come together and keep our dollars out of Mexico. That's the only way we can get their attention and basically cripple the economy because nobody's listening to us.
But it seems like Mexico isn't the problem. The United States is the problem.
Mexico's not the problem. Keep your money out.
Can I speak?
Everyone go on mute because someone's got an echo. Who said? Go ahead, Anthony. Go ahead. Finish.
Yes, and because how else are we going to get justice unless we get certain people's attention?
Well,
this is not fair at all.
Yeah.
Cheryl, can I speak?
Yeah, go ahead. True.
Keep your money out of the United States is what you should say, because Mexico did what Mexico was supposed to do with only what Mexico could have done. You heard her attorney even say that. They did what they could have done, sent everything to the United States FBI, and they did nothing. Why do we think this is like unusual? I don't get it. And everybody Mexico, boycott the United States. Stop spending our money there then. Maybe we should spend it in Mexico where the peso is $1 to 20 pesos.
Go ahead, Anthony.
Yeah, Mexico should have never allowed those people to come back to the United States. They should have been prosecuted as soon as the crime occurred.
You have to know how to do two treaties work. You have to know how the two countries work. It's the United States that have to do the prosecution of United States citizens. That's how it works. It's not Mexico.
What about that? What about that, Anthony? She's telling the truth. Let me let Anthony respond, Shan, then I'll get to you. Go ahead, Anthony.
I believe that it's sending, regardless, it's sending a bad message saying that you can go to Mexico and unalive somebody and get away with it. If you're having a difficulty with somebody in your life, just send them to Mexico and do the act. And it's not right.
Problem. If you have a problem with someone, and I take my friend to Mexico because I know I'm going to get away with unaliving them, that's the United States problem allowing its citizens to come back knowing this information. You saw the video. They said the aggressor was who it was, and the United States have these people shopping in Macy's today. So what I'm saying is,
let Anthony respond, and I'm gonna have to drop you, Anthony, because you're picking up an echo. Go ahead, Anthony. Speak your piece.
My feeling is that regardless of what government is involved, they should be working together or doing something to figure out a way to prosecute, because this is going to be a bad message, and this is not going to be the last one that happens.
Yeah.
There's going to be another person that's going to fall victim to this if we don't send a strong message.
Thank you, Anthony, for calling. I got to drop you because you're creating an echo, and it sounds like you're out. Thank you so much for calling, and I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Sherelle, she said the attorney, Sue Ann Robinson, clearly said that the Attorney General of Baja California Sur, which is the Mexican state where Cabo is, has issued an extradition warrant. The FBI is the one who has to process that extradition warrant.
She said Interpol.
They issued it to the FBI and Interpol.
No.
So that means they have to pick up the people here and bring them over there.
No. You have to listen to what she's saying. You have to listen to and understand what she's saying. First, we have to start at the beginning. the beginning where the Mexican officials, when I say officials, I mean the police and the doctors in that first report lied. So Mexico has to sort all of that out and provide factual information in their warrants and their extradition documents to actually get it approved. You just can't go to a country and say, "Give me your people, we want to prosecute." And we can't just say something happened in your country, we saw a video, we're going to prosecute. There's processes. And the problem is, which nobody is paying attention to. And I hope the Robinson family finds another attorney because Susu is not doing them justice. Because I will start with the warrants, how she said the warrants. Okay, she said that Mexico submitted to Interpol. Interpol is just a mediation space, shall we say. They're not like a department functioning place. It's where all the countries basically come for information, so to speak. They're not like a FBI, a Department of Justice, where they go out and arrest people. No, they just put it into the system and it goes worldwide that this is what's
If
out here. So if they
let me
ever
ask you the
come back
Chan,
to
Mexico
Mexico,
did give.
Mexico has given the attorney, the
She
FBI
has a
and
delay. Hold on,
Interpol.
hold on.
yeah, I think I
Chan, can
do
you hear
have.
me?
Yeah, I can hear you, but
You
I
have a
do think I
delay.
have a delay.
But even if Mexico gave a false report in the beginning, why isn't the United States stepping up, telling us we are not getting the correct what's it
For
called?
real, I can answer
Yeah,
that for you.
Because they can't do that. That there's a process, and that all that stuff is confidential. They can't just come out and say, "Oh, they didn't do this and they didn't do that," and da 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 da. They can't ruin foreign relations and stuff like that because at the end of the day, like they were saying, it's about money and it's about stuff. And we are second. Well, in my opinion, we're still treated like second class citizens in our own country.
But
So
that's not
it's
what she said. That's not what she said. She said, this is what she said. She said it's not being done because the government waited too long. They waited 5 months. The girl had been embalmed and everything. Now they saying her injuries are not her injuries. So now it looks like all the Mexico reports is gonna be fabricated because nothing that they said was actuality. You see what I'm saying? Where she was classified a victim, now they're saying it's undetermined. They waited to get
but
the.
but if
Go
you
ahead, Shan.
remember from the beginning,
Shan, you can't deny that United States dropped the ball. Delay,
no,
delay.
no, 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 no. But see, the thing is, the United States, just because we say she died over there, get on it, that's not their process. Even though it is, I
She's
agree
a
with the
U.S.
fact that,
citizen. It is their
no,
process.
listen,
They can
stop.
anytime a U.S.
If I
citizen
could
dies in
finish,
any
if I could
country.
finish my thought, if I could
and so
finish
were
a
her
thought
friends.
or a sentence, if I could finish a thought or a sentence, maybe you guys will understand what I'm saying. Because what I was saying was, if
He faded out.
they can't just say we're getting right on it because that's not how it happens. I've been in the military. I was in law enforcement. I've worked with in Detroit. We have a huge Mexican population and we deal with ICE a lot. And things don't happen like we wish they would happen. We do wish that when they came back that they would have been able to be arrested and get charged and Shaquilla gets justice. I do believe they unalived that child. I do believe that. However, you can't, but see, what we want now is for them to not get their due process and just arrest them. But if they let come out and just not give them due process and just arrest them, then they can do that to all of us. And it's sad because that's pretty much how the system is works against people.
All right,
Because
let me jump in because I'm losing reception. I'm fading in and out. Might sound off really quickly.
oh,
Okay.
Oh my God.
Ghostface, do you want to sound off? You're on mute.
Yes, I do.
Go ahead.
Okay, well, I forgot what to say now.
Okay, I'll come back to you. Shan, the ball is.
Can I say one last thing? And I'm
Please
going to
do.
jump down because in order to understand what's happening right now, you have to really know the process. What I'm going to say, and I hope somebody in her family is listening, they should sue the Cabo Six to get more information, and that may help with their case because, in my opinion, and what I see happening is Mexico cannot give information that's worthy enough for them to be arrested here. And it works against us at this moment, but at a later moment, it would be working in our favor that they can't just say, hey, you did this. We saw the video and arrest us. Because we all feel in our hearts that they did it and we see from our eyes what played out. However, if you're in that sector, they need more information. They can't just say we if they go to court with just that video and Mexico's reports when the first ones are different from the ones they're using now, that's possibility for them to get off and you can't go back and try them again. So it's a lot that's involved with that. And I feel like if they sue them, they could possibly get more sue them for wrongful death, that they could get more information that's provided
That's a good idea.
factually
That's a good idea,
to
Shan. That's a
to
real good
them. Other
idea.
than that, you really can't believe what Mexico is saying. And I canceled 2 trips to Mexico because it's not, oh, it's Mexico's fault. It's, oh, how it was handled. If I can pay a doctor and the police to give a wrong police report or information about something that happened, that means when I come back home, I can't get justice because in the beginning, everything was boggled. And now we have nowhere to go for me to get justice because the first people that touched it and laid hands on it lied, and they lied for money. So at this point, they need to be prosecuted too.
Diva, sound off.
You know what? I was listening. I agree 100% with Shan, right? So here's the thing is I would not spend another dime. Honey, you couldn't get me to go to Mexico for $1. I'm done. My thing is they botched it from the beginning. How do you go pick up an unalive body and nobody gets questioned and nobody gets arrested in Mexico? They was allowed to get back on that plane, do whatever. And I don't know because there's so many untruths now, but I heard they used her credit card and her stuff to come back. I mean, give me a break. We can't do nothing on these people. And they're going to get away with this. It's very sad. This is actually really heartbreaking that a person could go on a trip with somebody, come back, that person doesn't come back. And it's like, oh, well, nothing's going to be done. I do feel like, whichever way we can stand together until we put the pressure down so something can be done about this in our own little pockets. Because, we can only do what we can do, especially when you don't know all the facets of the law. But a lot of what Shan is saying, I connected with. It's true. Your hands are tied to some degree. You got all of these botched reports, and she's right. I can't just go with a video and say X, Y, Z, and then it'd be a lynch mob and people get prosecuted or whatever, and I don't have a whole bunch of facts, right? Because then we'll all be subjected to that nonsense. People could make up something on us. Next thing you know, they come into our house, they clinking us, and it's craziness. So we can't do that. There is things that have to take place. But I say the first mess up was in Mexico. How do you come get a body? First this happened to her, then that didn't happen to her. The first report said it was a neck and this and that and the other, and now they keep changing it up. From the police that first came in to that fraudulent doctor to everybody else who was first on that scene. We need justice right there first, and then it needs to trickle down on to the rest, okay? I want to know how they got on that plane. I want to know what money they used. I want to know if they used their credit card. I want to I'm sorry, go ahead.
Now hold on for a second, Diva. True, Diva has a point. Mexico dropped the ball also. Will you agree to that?
100% Mexico dropped the ball at the beginning, but that's not my argument. Mexico law is trash. Money moves the law, okay? My argument is Mexico dropped the ball. Whatever they did afterwards, whatever reports, like the attorney said, they sent to the FBI. Why wasn't nothing done at that point?
So answer that, Diva, because Both sides are at fault.
Both sides are at fault. But what reports did they send? Because Mexico told so many lies. First report said that with her unalived certificate, first it said something about her spine, and that's how whatever. Nobody just walks and falls and they're healthy, and then they break their own spine, and then they're gone, right?
Well, the videos didn't come out yet.
What? Let me finish 1 second, Sebastian. And then another report came out, and then there was report that she was unalived at one time, and then they changed the time. First it was like 1 PM, then it was 3 p.m. It was all kind of lies that originated in Mexico. So what do you want me to do in the US when I keep getting these conflicting reports, and then somebody else comes with me with a video? In the video, she was still alive. You understand what I'm saying? So go ahead.
No, I agree with you, and I totally get it. But at the first report, it was alcohol, so-called alcohol poisoning. And that's why they were allowed to leave until Mexico did further investigation. That's when the other reports came out about the spinal, the neck, and all of that stuff. That's what the FBI got. The FBI got the last report of what actually happened. At that point in time, it was up now, people back in the United States. It wasn't alcohol poisoning. So why did the FBI at that point in time do something and arrest? These are U.S. citizens on U.S. soil now committed a crime in a foreign country.
Do we know?
Okay, wait a minute. Hold on. I think both of y'all.
Let Opinion jump in. Go ahead, Opinion.
Both of y'all are right, but the one thing everybody is missing is that the U.S. didn't get involved. You remember in the press conference, she said they didn't get involved until after the video came out on November the 17th. So the months had already started. Everybody had already started getting their stuff together. They didn't interview them till not too long ago. Now it's 5 months. They done deleted everything. What she's saying is we always have to fight for our people here at the U.S. The U.S. should have got involved the minute this girl didn't come home.
And I don't think there was enough money behind Shaquella's case. Look at the money
That's what I'm saying. Our government shouldn't be based on how much money we got. She's a U.S. citizen. When she didn't come home, U.S. should have said, we're going over there to find out what's going on.
That's not how it is in the United States. Like I was saying, look at the Natalie Holloway case because of who it was and who her people was.
Natalie Holloway came from a rich home. I knew Natalie Holloway family. They came from a rich home.
Her parents went over there.
And her parents her parents hired people. The U.S. didn't just take their butt over there.
I need everybody to go on mute except for Opinion. I'm hearing an echo. Everyone go on mute. Go ahead, Opinion.
When Natalie Holloway disappeared, she was from a rich area. Her daddy, her uncles, all of them got together. They put in money, like millions. They was getting detectives to go down there. They got private investigators to go down there. They even hired an ex-CIA worker to go down there to make sure nothing was botched. And it still took a while before the U.S. got involved, but not as long as it took for Shaquella. What I'm saying is, if we keep on letting our people go to other countries and they dying, and we don't say, hey, this was a U.S. citizen, we care about our citizens, and go over there and find out what happened. Make sure these processes don't get botched, so the next person that travels out of the state don't have to worry about this.
Respond to that, Diva.
So what I'm trying to say is we don't know for a fact what paperwork the FBI got. We don't, right? So of course I am saying that we just by historical information, right? When it comes to a certain community being unalived, the history says they don't give a darn, right? But in this particular case, I'm saying we don't know for a fact what paperwork the FBI did or did not receive. We don't know if they received all the original stuff. We don't know if they received stuff after. We don't know what was received or what was not received. And unfortunately, also the family, when you have limited information, you don't know what to do, right? So here you are, family. This never happened to you before. Your daughter went away with so-called friends. She doesn't come back. they come back and they have all kind of crazy stories. So even it was a delay when they first came back, because the family even believed what the people were saying to her, that she had alcohol poisoning. It wasn't until the family started seeing these videos that everything started to unravel and people were starting to have questions about everything that went down. I'm just saying that the original botch up was definitely out there in Mexico. And even if you have ways to test somebody's alcohol level, so even if you go pick up a body and they say, oh, she was drinking too much, it don't take you hours to find out what really happened to her and was it alcohol poisoning or not. So my thing is, I don't know what the time frame is. There's more details that we need to know, right? I don't know what the time frame is when they picked up her body versus when they tested her body. Because remember, they also said that the doctor, quote unquote, was there for hours and they refused to give her, IV therapy. They said that she was going to be all right. There's so many mixed up stories here. And that's why we need more details as to when this body was picked up, what truly did happen, what did this paperwork and these freaking reports say, and who got access to what paperwork before they started changing things around. I believe on a high level that Mexico knew it was a whole botch up and that they changed paperwork to fit the scenario they wanted it to fit. And I don't know what paperwork got to the FBI. And again, once they get that paperwork, they have to do their due diligence and look into it and investigate. They can't come lock me up first and then think about it later. They got to investigate and see, do they have enough evidence? There are plenty of people who are unalive right here in the U.S. And the people know for a fact that it probably was so-and-so's husband. But before they even go pick up that man, they have to make sure they have enough evidence to prove that he definitely did it before they go pick him up. So we would need to know all the paperwork involved, everything that went down. But on another level, I will say this. I'm 10 toes down that Mexico did the first mess up. And then, yes, the U.S. had their part in it, but they just can't go say, I'm going to go arrest all these people and pick all these people up, and I'm going to send a whole bunch of people down to Mexico to see what went down, because she is a popular case that we know about. But I'm a best believe, Sherelle, there's some other people too that unfortunately people came back and they was unalived over there.
I want to say this real quick.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. We heard Sue Ann Robinson say everything that we needed to be here. We needed this to be said. She mentioned that she did fly to Mexico. She mentioned that she's spoken to the Attorney General of the Mexican state where Cabo is located, California SOAR. They've clearly, Mexico, yes, they did drop the ball, but they picked it up. They picked it up. They handed it to the U.S. And the U.S. did not give it back. What they should have done is, once Mexico issued that extradition warrant to Interpol and the FBI should have gone and arrested the Cabo Six and sent them on a plane to Cabo
Immediately.
Immediately.
Exactly.
That's where I'm saying the
That's
U.S.
where
is the one
it
that's
is.
wrong. That's the thing. Mexico does not have the authority to invade the United States and come to the
No.
door
No, they
and
don't.
take them. They don't. But if they issued a warrant to the FBI has better things to be worrying about.
I agree.
Than,
I agree
other
with it.
things that they're doing now. They have better things to worry about. They need to make sure, you know what? We don't have that much time. We're just gonna go pick them up at their house and take a flight, go to Cabo. That's all that needs said. And they would have been in custody over there, and they would have been held in house arrest if they were let go.
But Sebastian, that depends upon what paperwork was sent to the FBI.
An extradition warrant. That's what Sue Ann said. An
Isn't that
extradition
enough?
warrant was sent. That's all you need.
I agree with Sebastian Diva. Everybody
I
dropped
hear
the
you.
ball.
I think everybody.
Well, I think what Diva trying to say is, if they say, okay, yeah, we're gonna send every American that Mexico say, hey, we got an extradition warrant for, then it's gonna be some Americans that ain't did nothing that's gonna be in Mexican jail. So it's like Mexico had to send the paperwork to America to show the case first before they release an American to Mexicans. I think the point of it is, when Mexico dropped the ball and picked the ball back up, the U.S. had never even started dribbling. They ain't even
There you
made it to
go.
the court.
There you go.
They
This is
haven't even made it to the
sad.
court. And
Hmm.
I just feel like it's sad when that girl body had to be embalmed, put in the ground, dug back up, and then the FBI did their autopsy. I just feel like that part to me felt wrong. Like as a U.S. citizen, I would feel like the U.S. would do a autopsy anyway when her body got here, regardless.
Anybody else? I'm
The worst
just
part is once
sad.
a body's embalmed, you really can't find anything.
That's true.
Right.
Her
So
body didn't get embalmed until it got here.
exactly.
But the USA had the federal government had picked up the case yet because they didn't see a crime yet.
And here's another thing I wanted to point out. Thank you so much, Opinion, for streaming that for me. I looked everywhere. This should be breaking news, and it's
Amen.
not.
Amen.
It is not breaking news. I looked on YouTube. I looked on Twitter. I went to Fox Live, CNN Live, MSNBC, CBS News. It was not streamed everywhere. And
Nowhere.
just like Sue Ann said, why wasn't the press room crowded?
You know what, Sherelle? I wrote to maybe, I'm going to say at least 10 different outlets. 2 of them responded to me. One person told me that, she doesn't do, cover crimes on this particular level. It was just sad. Nobody wanted to pick it up.
But we got to give Nancy Grace
that
a
part.
shout out
Yes.
because
Oh
we
yeah,
did reach out to her and she did pick it up. So
Yep.
thank you, Nancy Grace.
Yep, she sure did. But everybody else, they wouldn't touch it at all. And it's very sad, but it just goes to show that, when it comes to a certain group of people, no one cares. But they'll start caring though if we hold back our finances, we hold back our money. And I would say that we should start no matter what. I wouldn't go to Mexico if they had a resort for $1 a week.
I'm not gonna hold. I actually
I'm going to
started the
Mexico.
thing.
Y'all stop.
I started that thing in the beginning of the live, but after listening to True and listening to Sue and Robinson speak, I'm retracting that statement about we got to boycott their tourism. I'm retracting it. I'm not because the thing is, it also helps the locals there. I'm not
But
gonna do
when you
that.
go to Mexico, you have to understand you are in a different country and you have to play by their rules. You have to know you're in a different country. So
That part. Thank
it's
you.
Sherelle, people want to boycott Mexico, not even knowing. I've learned that living here in Mexico, that probably about 85% of the food in the United States comes from Mexico. So you want to boycott Mexico? Go ahead and boycott Mexico. You think
true. We're not boycotting Mexico. I
I'm
go to
not. I'm
Mexico
not.
every couple weeks. We're not boycotting, but we do have to understand you're in a different country and the rules that apply here do not apply there. But everybody dropped the ball in this case, and the only person paying the price is Shanquilla's family.
Sherelle, the ball is still up. The ball is still up.
You think so?
The ball is still up. It's in the hands of the U.S. to extradite these people back to Mexico if there's a warrant issued to them. The ball is still up. If the FBI doesn't want to press charges, okay, fine. You know what? We're just going to bring them there. That's it. That's all they
Well, I
need to
agree
do.
with Sebastian, but it's going to involve some work. This isn't completely overdone case. We could try to keep it alive. And she said what the march on May 19th. Okay.
That's soon.
She meant March, right? Because I wrote down May.
No.
No, she said May 19th, the march of Washington, D.C. That'll be 200 days after her death.
Yeah, that's, jeez.
This is wrong. I'm going to be emailing my members of Congress and local elected leaders as well. This is wrong. Again.
It's very sad.
A mother had to wear a black dress for her child. It's supposed to be the other way around, guys. It's supposed to be the other way around, as harsh as that sounds.
Yeah, it's true. Well, like I said, this is all so fresh. We just heard about this. It's so fresh. I think Suann did a good job in the press release. I'm surprised it wasn't trending. It wasn't. It's just not. Oof. All right, guys. How long we've been on here? 2 hours. Let's go. Last words, Sebastian.
My last words are this. I want to say this to the FBI. If there was a warrant issued to you, as the Attorney General of Baja California Sur said, your job is to make sure that you lock all the Cabo Six's bank accounts, lock their assets, lock everything. Because right now, if they want to leave the United States, right now they can.
They can.
They can.
Mhm.
If you know they're not in the hands of, if they're not in the hands of the FBI or in any police, they can leave. You need to lock their accounts, lock everything, even their passports, because the government can do that too. Lock their passports, and then find them and bring them to Mexico if there isn't if there is an alleged warrant, as the Attorney General of Baja California Sur said.
Opinion.
Listen here, okay? So this is the thing. It's sad, but we all know we got to fight for justice for our own kind. And I'm saying it's really sad. You know, when she was calling out all those names, she's not telling the story. Like we literally had to fight for justice for all those people. Ahmaud Arbery wouldn't have got the justice he got had it not been for his mama. You know, standing there every day, like she was there every day. So, hey, if you want to do something, you want to jump in the fight, then get in the fight any way you can. Whether it's to sending support, whether it's sending email, whether it's going to DC and marching to the Capitol with them, get involved any way you can, because that could have been your child, your sister, your mother. Like that could have been somebody related to you.
Woo. True. Sound off. Last statements. Final statements. Can you hear us?
Sorry.
Go
I
ahead.
was on mute. I just want to because some people in the chat were saying if I'm a Mexican representative. No, I'm an American. But my thing is the U.S. dropped the ball. All we can do at this point, because it's maybe not over, maybe they can do a civil lawsuit against Cabo Six, or go after them that way. But all I want to say is the U.S. has set now this precedent now that people can just come in Mexico, do whatever they want, get away with it, go back to the States, and nothing is going to happen. That's the message the United States government and the FBI is sending. And that's unfortunate because we already have enough on us as a people of color, and this just adds fuel to that fire. Okay? So I would say we need to hit them in their pockets where it hurts and boycott. If you want to boycott someone, boycott all these businesses and different things that don't support us. Boycott the elections with the Democrats that don't support us. Okay? No bird is one bird. Right wing, left wing, same bird. Racist, same bird. No one has ever been for us. Let's support each other, come together. Look how they did Black Tulsa. We had it all going on then. They destroyed it. Okay? So all I'm saying is stop looking at Mexico because we live here. There's about 90% of the expat community living here from the UK, Canada, and the and the United States living here in Mexico. Life is great here for us. We don't have these issues anymore like we had in the United States. Cost of living is cheap. Groceries is cheap. Food and everything is cheap because everything is grown here. Okay? We don't have to worry about going in the food store and paying $20 for eggs. I can get a 30 carton of eggs for $3 here. I don't have to worry about my husband and my family going out at night or driving in a car and getting pulled over by police and being unalive. So I understand people are saying boycott Mexico, but Mexico is not the problem. It's always been the United States. And that's all.
Okay, Emmanuel, sound off.
I agree. Look, Emmett Till, Trayvon Martin, George Floyd, Breonna Taylor. It's the same story over and over again, and I just feel so bad for the family of these people. I think that the Robinson family needs to sue the Justice Department, the FBI. They need to sue someone because I think they're using Mexico as a scapegoat. This was an American citizen that passed away, and it was done by American citizens, and that video was enough for an indictment.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
That's all
Diva?
You know what? Either way, it's a sad situation. Whether the debate to me is not who to put the blame on. The debate to me is that someone needs the answers for this situation, a point blank in a period. And at the end of the day, My thing is, I know everybody's saying the video, but you got to understand in the video, she was still alive. So you can't go in court and show a video where someone is clearly still alive and say, okay, this is the cause and that person definitely did it. That's not going to help you in any type of case. All I would like to say is this, that we do need to whatever piece of the pie we can do, but this thing shouldn't be left on the table the way it is. It's extremely sad. And our message should be, we want justice regardless of who dropped the ball. Let's all pick the ball up now and find justice for a girl that had a whole life ahead of her and went on vacation with people that she thought were her friends. They came back and she did not. So let's find out what happened. Forget about pointing a finger, this one, that one, the other one. Let's find out what happened. And whoever did what they did to her, let's bring them to justice, point blank and period.
And I'm going to add this. I was shocked. Now, maybe he did and we didn't see it, that Benjamin Crump didn't speak. Maybe he did. I'm going to look into him. I want to hear what he has to say. He was there. So maybe it'll be addressed tonight. But anyway, guys, I'm still coming back in my scheduled time. Thank you guys all for joining. It's just sad, but I'm going to take the advice of Sebastian. It's never too late. The ball's still in the air. Hopefully something can get done, because at the end of the day, if that was your child that you saw on video being unalived, we should never live in a country where people should get away with that. It just is what it is. All right, you guys. Thank you so much for joining in.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Thank you, Cheryl.
Thank you. All right, guys, on your way out, please don't forget to hit that like button. Leave me detailed comments in the comments section. Speak your piece. Me and Diva will continue to follow this story, and we will continue to write it out to different agencies. I feel like what else can we do? We done did it. Yeah, we done did it. So, all right, Diva. Thank you, everybody, for the super chats. You don't have to support the channel, but you do. Thank you, everybody, for remaining calm. Tempers were flared because this is all fresh to us. So we did a good job calming down, because I know people were heated. So, all right, Diva, on 3, let's say bye. 1, 2, 3. Bye, guys. All right, I got to go to Perry. All right, talk to you later. Bye.